So welcome to our training this evening, the 3 secrets to living in flow, removing the struggle and the force from success and creating a life of flow and ease. And really, what I would love for you to get from this evening is that um, success doesn't have to be hard or complicated. And B, you can do something real about this, and it doesn't have to be hard. Like it could be really easy. The solution should be easy and simple. So, when all is said and done, that would be my ideal takeaway for you this evening. Let's see. There it is. Oh, hello. Oh, Catherine from Kansas City, Missouri. Welcome. Hans from Maryland. Welcome. Oh my gosh, 2-year-old falling asleep. That would be awesome. We're actually going to have our videos off for the most part, just so that it doesn't interfere with the recording. But feel free to chat as much as you want. So let's dive in here. And, oops. Okay. So by the end of our time together, you're going to be able to start releasing whatever struggle and force, you may have been experiencing from your life so that you can start, so that you create a life of ease and flow. So I had sent a message out to as many people as gave me their phone number. So if you gave me your phone number, I probably sent you a message and I asked you, what is your intention? You're going to be creating a shift this evening. And if you have any struggle in your life right now, I mean, who doesn't have some kind of struggle in our lives, right? Even the ones who are doing the absolute best and are having the most successes and thriving the most right now, we've all got something that we're looking to break through. So write down your intention for shifting, and it may be something that we shift completely this evening, and it may be something that we open the door to start that transformation process that will continue in the days and weeks ahead. And also feel free to type that in the chat as well. And stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to be giving you a very special guided meditation. This is a quantum shift meditation that's going to help you to make some deep subconscious and cellular changes, so that you start seeing the world a little bit differently. And the reality is what people experience with these meditations is they start manifesting with more ease and more speed because they're shifting their vibration. And so I'm going to be gifting you all those at the end. And all I need you to do is send me a message. You can send me an email. It could be a text from the phone number I texted you at, or I'm going to put my phone number in here. Oops. 303 557-1258. All right. So write this number down, 303-557-1258. And at the end of the training, at the end of the session, send me a quick message saying, made it to the end or something like that. And I'm going to send you back. I'm going to respond to your message with this quantum shift guided meditation download. And it's about 15 minutes. So it's not anything crazy, but it is, enough for you to really get into it and really experience that shift. Okay. So right now is the time to turn off all distractions and really, set aside this time for yourself. You deserve it, especially after a long day, probably a lot of drama going on in the world. And this is your time for yourself. So let's really take advantage of that. So let's talk about what exactly flow means. Everybody's experienced that state of being in flow. You probably experienced that when you were hanging out with friends, when you were really doing anything that you enjoy yourself and you're really immersed in. Could be doing some kind of art, listening to music. It really feels like time stops and everything is so much easier. There's no stress, there's no anxiety. There's no worry. It's just, you're in the moment. And what's happening is, because of your vibration, when you're engaging in these activities that lift you up, that you enjoy so much, and you're in that creative space, you are super connected with God. And when I say God, I don't mean like the religious God. I just mean, the divine, the universe, spirit all around us. You're so connected with that nothing else can penetrate. And some things, that flow state can be very fleeting. It's like we're in the flow, and then an hour or a day later, we're totally out of the flow. So let me know if you can relate to this, if you've experienced this before recently. But some common things that take us out of the flow are things like fears, limiting beliefs, family patterns. We're in this high confidence, high connection, this space where everything is happening easily, and then a part of our brain kicks in and says, wait a second. And we're not conscious of this, by the way. This is our subconscious. 95% of our brain is subconscious. So there's something in our subconscious that says, wait a second, things are getting a little bit too good. We need to, and then the self-sabotage comes in, that fear comes in, and it pulls us out of the flow. Because when we're in the flow, things happen really, really fast. Things happen almost instantly. And it's really easy. It's like, a ball rolling down the hill. And when, if there's a part of us that says, we're only supposed to achieve this much, we're only supposed to go at this speed, then as we're gaining that momentum, we put the brakes on, and then we bring ourselves out of the flow. And, it's the fears, the limiting beliefs, and family patterns that create that sabotage or that brake system that we experience. And the reality is, you can live in this state, and it's not going to be like you're always in a state of euphoria. That's not what it is. But what's really interesting is, when you're in flow, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to be stressed about. There's nothing to have anxiety over. So in a way, it does feel like euphoria and bliss, but you get so used to it that it doesn't really feel like that anymore. It just feels normal. But at first, and I remember when I first started experiencing this, one of my teachers told me, she's like, Sarah, you are blissed out. And I was like, what do you mean? But I know what she's talking about. Like, there was so much contrast between, before I had started the training that I was doing, and then, just a week or so after, there was so much contrast between the version of myself that had daily fears and daily anxieties and worries, and then that version of myself that felt totally secure, totally confident, totally, in faith of the universe, that it felt like I was high. And then it just feels normal, and then it just becomes normal. So you don't need to work for this flow state. The flow state doesn't have to be hard or fleeting. You just have to understand how to tap into that elevated flow state every day and every moment. And I'm going to give you a little secret. Like, there's nothing complicated about this. It's all about love and fear, right? Flow state is love. And the resisted state, you could say flow versus resistance. The resisted state is just fear. And so once we eliminate these fears, then what's left is love and flow. It's very, very simple. So these are the three keys to the flow state: is simplicity, having the right process, and really tapping into yourself. Like, everything you need to create flow in your life is within you right now. You don't need any medications. You don't need any drugs, hallucinogenics. I mean, people really seek out the state, and there's nothing to seek. It's right here all the time. It's just clearing away all the clutter that's causing that resistance and friction in your life. Once you do that, then what's left, as I said, is that flow, that love. So you know that you're in the right place in this training if you are pursuing a higher purpose. You know, this is really powerful stuff that I'm talking about and that I'm sharing with you this evening. And it's not for people who are just like, they just want to manifest more money. Like that's not what this is about. This is about making a bigger impact. And if that's who you are, say yes in the comments and you're in the right place. You're in the right place if you are ready to take it to the next level. Like you've already done a lot of personal development work. You've already read all of the books, and then it's gotten you to, you know, where you are now, and you're ready to go even deeper. And you're passionate about expanding your impact. You want to make the biggest impact that you can in your life, with your family, with the world, you know, with your clients. So let me know in the comments if you can relate to any of those. So I've been helping spiritually driven leaders to live in flow and grow their impact for the last decade. I specialize in releasing the struggle and force that holds entrepreneurs and parents back from success. You know, as high achievers, we experience resistance, and that resistance, it's like it's such an irony of the situation. You know, we have such a drive to be the very best that we can, and all humans experience this, that resistance to growth. You know, that's the edge of the comfort zone. And the more driven we are and the more ambitious we are, sometimes the greater resistance that is, because you can see, you know, 50 comfort zones out, and that's where you set your sight. And then you have to break through those 50 comfort zones at some point to get to where you really want to be. And so that's a lot of resistance. And sometimes we try to break through all of that at once, which is possible, but it just feels like a lot of pressure. And so we tend to deal with this more than, you know, people who are just, you know, content following the status quo and just kind of doing what they're told, because there's no pressure there. You know, there's no comfort zone to get out of. You're just kind of stay in that zone and you're content there. But the people that this training is for, and everybody who's here, you know, we see beyond that zone, and we see, we have a much greater vision than that. And I also make this really fun and effective. Like, this doesn't have to be too serious. I say in the training all the time in Miracle 90 and Recharge, which are the next steps from this training right now. I say, like, don't take yourself so seriously, because, you know, it's kind of all a game, and it's really fun. And once you learn the rules to the game, it becomes so fun. So this is not meant to be super hard or complicated. I think I've said that like 3 times now. So I discovered my current methods out of necessity. I was working too hard. I got burnt out and I hit a wall. So basically, I had little children. They're babies, and we moved across the country. And let's see, I'm just going to ask everybody to mute. Thank you. And we didn't have any support. And my husband was working all day and all night. So it was me alone, you know, and I just put so much pressure on myself. I was like a way overachieving parent. And I got so stressed. And I basically got to this wall where I said, I can't do this anymore. You know, I can't run this business. I can't do this parenting thing all by myself the way that I'm doing it, because I'm yelling at my kids. You know, this is what I was saying way back when. I was yelling at my kids. I was arguing with my husband all the time. I was feeling super reactive, and I had a health scare that really brought me back to reality and said, this is not worth it. I don't like who I am right now. I need to figure something else out. So I trained under masters, and I practiced hundreds of hours to develop this system so that I can make the impact that I wanted to, I always knew that I would do something that changes the world. Like when I was a little kid, as long as I can remember, I wanted to do something really valuable with my career. And I remember racking my brain like my whole life. What could I do that would not hurt another person? Because it felt like every career path, was hurting somebody in part of that process. And I wanted to do something that I knew would help people, and it was only for good. And so this was really my dream, is to make this impact and also be the mom that I wanted to be. Like, I did not want to sacrifice anything, not my kids, my marriage, my health. I was not willing to sacrifice any of that, and neither should you. You do not need to sacrifice anything to have what you want. And that is one of those biggest misconceptions, that, you have to sacrifice to be successful. If you have to sacrifice to be successful, then you're doing it wrong. It's just a matter of choices and really prioritizing. And if there's a will, there's a way. So if you really want to have it all in all these different areas, then you can. It's just a matter of, what importance you put on that and then the actions you take. Of course, that all has to do with your beliefs and, your identity around what you really can have. So imagine what it would feel like if the situations that cause you the most anxiety didn't faze you anymore, and that you were able to calmly respond with confidence. I mean, that is something right there that will save any marriage. Not that every marriage needs to be saved, but if it is a marriage that has the potential to be saved, or if you're struggling in your marriage, like, this is going to uplift, save, heal any relationship, whether it's with your kids, your parents, your family, a significant other, just by not reacting. I mean, it's so simple. This makes you more money. It makes significantly more money. It helps people with sales. It helps people with hiring. It helps people with their teams. Every aspect of life is about relationships, and the way that we react has a significant impact on our relationships, and we react according to what's inside of us. So if we have, all these emotional traumas and triggers and fears, then we are going to react unconsciously from those patterns. And this is a way, getting into this flow shift, this is a way to become conscious and to become intentional about the way that we are co-creating in the world, about the way that we're interacting, about the way that we're responding. I love this. When you resolve the root cause and start tapping into this flow shift, then everything changes. You experience joy, ease, laughter every day at work and at home. Life just becomes fun. Life becomes a fun adventure. So I'm going to quickly go through these 3 secrets so that I can dive in with Puja. And the first secret is unlocking the infinite flow that's inside of you right now. And energy is the key. Everything starts with energy. Abundance is bred from the energy of abundance. So if you are existing in this vibration of abundance, if that is the pattern that you are carrying inside of you, then you're naturally going to create abundance everywhere you go. You're naturally going to receive abundance everywhere you go. If you are filled with love, and that is the prominent energy that you're carrying inside of you, then you are going to experience love everywhere you go. If you're experiencing the opposite of these things, any scarcity, any anger, any resentment, frustration, things like that, that's a sign. Those are symptoms. It's not because you're thinking negative thoughts. Those are just symptoms that those are states that you're carrying inside of you. Those are, those are emotions that you're holding on to. And so as I go through this process with Puja and all of you, we're going to actually remove some of this energy that is getting in the way of the abundance and the love. So life force, when I talk about energy, there's a few different ways to describe it. And the most simple way that I found is this idea of life force. And life force it's the energy that gives everything vitality. People, plants, the earth, rocks, look around you. Everything that's around you is vibrating. If you go down to an atomic level, there's actually video, you can find it on YouTube, of atoms vibrating. And there's, the atoms are vibrating according to, different properties of whatever that thing is. And, the energy radiates from, let's just use ourselves. It's in everything, but let's just use ourselves. So the energy radiates from ourselves, and it's in our cells, it's in our mind, it's in our thoughts, everything. So we're just gonna mute everybody. Thank you. And let me know in the comments if you've experienced this life force energy. The more that we have, the more that's flowing inside of us, the happier we're going to be, the more love we're going to experience, the more abundance we're going to experience. The less life force that we have flowing through us, we're going to tend to be more sick. We're going to get depressed more easily, get in those emotional funks. So this is really important to be able to freely flow the life force energy. And you can experience this for yourself. We're not going to do it now, but when later on tonight before you go to bed, just play with this for a moment. You can put your hands together and just pay attention to the sensations through your hands. Bring your hands to your body, bring your hands to your head, just different areas, and you can actually feel this energy field. So life force creates relaxation and trust. So energy is a thing that unlocks, and it helps us to unlock ourselves, our subconscious mind, to be able to access the emotions and the beliefs that we store inside of us that are creating the realities that we experience. So the energy uproots stuck emotions and limiting beliefs, and it carries it all to the surface to be released. And it's very simple, it's very easy, it's very natural. Okay. So the second secret is releasing the root cause of struggle and force. And so the first one was utilizing life force energy to unlock. And now that everything's unlocked, we're actually going to use that same energy to go down into the root and pull out whatever that block is. So by fixing the root cause, we resolve several problems at once, creating exponential growth. If you have a belief that says, I'm not worthy, how do you think that's going to influence the way that you receive love in your relationships? How do you think that's going to influence the way that you do business? If you have this deep core belief that says, I'm not worthy, then how is that going to influence the way that you take care of yourself? So once you fix that one belief, look at how many areas of your life are going to start improving and what new reality you're going to have. The emotions we hold on to in our subconscious and in our bodies influence the way that we react, make decisions, give, receive, and create. Every single thing that we do is a reflection of what is deeply held inside of us. So let's reflect, and you can, jot this down, whatever your answer is. What were you taught between, in your first 6 years of life about money, love, and your body? That is when we create our identity, and our deepest beliefs is really between conception and 6 years old. After, those first 6 years, we're really just building on what we learned initially. And so if you grew up around people who had a toxic view about money, or, you know, a negative view about money, or if your parents got divorced when you were young, or um, if you if your parents were addicted, one of your parents was addicted to alcohol, cigarettes, food, if you were around people that were overeating, then those things really have an influence on how we view ourselves and how the relationships that we have with things like money, our bodies, and our relationships. So when you heal your trauma, your wounds, you break the patterns for the next 7 generations. That is our work. That is the greatest gifts that we can give to our children. So if you have children in your life, whether they're your children or, you know, nieces, nephews, if you're a teacher, then it's so much bigger than ourselves. You know, we are the greatest influencers on the children in our lives, and what a gift it is to be able to give them a more empowered view of the world than what we grew up with. So the third secret that I'm going to share with you this evening is about self-care. Self-care will help you to maintain flow in your body, relationships, and your business, no matter what else happens. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, taking a bath or getting a manicure, or even, you know, just typical meditation. This goes beyond that. And this goes into quantum activities. Now, quantum activities are something that impact your body, mind, and spirit simultaneously. They go to the core, they go to the root of what you are working with. So I'm going to give you 3 examples. The first is energetic adjustments. That is an amplified version of meditation, and it utilizes something called Reiki, which works with energy. It's an energy healing modality. And 5 minutes of an energetic adjustment are like 20 minutes of conventional meditation. And 20 minutes of an energetic adjustment are like an hour of conventional meditation. So you get a whole lot more done in a very small amount of time. The energy that you're utilizing in this helps you to relax. So even people who are not able to quiet their mind, they're not able to relax their body, are able to effectively do this from the very beginning. It levels up all parts of your life and automatically shifts you into the flow. So as you do these energetic adjustments, you experience, I mean, it's really about miracles. You know, you experience miracles every single, I mean, we all experience miracles, but this is like, it's hard to explain without just experiencing it, because it almost feels like you're living in this amazing dream of like, I can't even believe this is happening. You know, the synchronicities and those you know, just those experiences that feel surreal. So it levels up all parts of your life. And it really, you know, it puts you in that flow state. Energetic emotional release technique, which I'll be using with Pooja this evening to reprogram your mind. So when your body is so open from the energy, you're able to easily reprogram your mind and really come back to the truth of who you are, and you know, be in your true power, in your true potential. And this is something that you can do every day as well. And then finally, the quantum shift meditations, which again, I'm going to be giving you a free download of these. And these are very, very powerful. They're actually utilizing some of the techniques from the first 2 that I showed you, the energetic adjustments and the energetic emotional release technique. These meditations utilize those processes to create a shift in your cells, in your subconscious mind, to manifest miracles in your body and your life. I mean, these are really healing meditations. And when you incorporate these quantum activities in your life, I mean, Pooja, just for a moment, I know we're not into the session yet, but what are some of the things that you have experienced by using the energetic adjustments and energetic emotional release technique?
Definitely it's helped with my anxiety and limiting beliefs a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've cleared a lot of stuff, not even just for me, but for my parents, my friends, and I've discovered things that, I had forgotten about, that happened in childhood or whatever, that were still holding me back. I still have a ways to go, but, and I'm always like discovering new things, but
Yeah.
I mean, it really has helped, tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a good point, Pooja, about how, we think all of our experiences are normal, right? And we think we move on from them until we realize, oh my gosh, like that time that I brought home a C test and my dad like freaked out at me, that reaction, the reaction we had inside where we went to this space of fear, like, oh my gosh, he doesn't love me anymore because I brought home a C on my paper, like that stays with us, especially if it's in the earlier years, that stays with us forever. And forever we have this fear of, not doing well or making mistakes. That's just such a classic example right there. So that's why it's so important to be able to go back through and look at, okay, what are these experiences and what are these things that I've been holding on to that I don't even realize, and then we can pull them out and then grow exponentially from there. Um, so imagine if you were able to live in flow and grow your impact and be the best parent that you can be. I mean, this is it's so simple, but it's something this really changes everything. And it once you start living in this kind of experience, you just can't imagine how you ever survived before. It's like, oh my, like I'm just thinking now, how did I ever go through life with so much fear in my life and so much anxiety in my life? It just, you're able to just enjoy and be present with yourself and with your family and loved ones. And Blake says, all parts of life are better. There's so much less stress in my life and work and personal life. And taking the next action steps are so much easier, releasing that resistance. I've gotten so much clarity on where things are off and how to find them. So she is like a super, um, she's an amazing person. She's actually, um, she's changing the game for women in business. And to have some of these blocks and resistance released for her was a massive breakthrough where, she's able to achieve all the things for her family, for her clients. She's able to really make these dreams come true, which has been such a blessing. So we're going to get started